Hey folks, so I have some more moon footage from last night that I want to share, and I have a little bit of time lapse star trail footage too that I want to share. But I want to give an upload notice as well. Um, I'm probably going to share this footage here and the captures from last night and the star trails and all that I have with an audio file of Ronald Reagan from 1983. So um, I just think that it's curious seeing as how history is kind of repeating itself. There might very well be a lot of people that aren't aware of the whole strategic defense initiative, the so-called Star Wars uh, plan, as it was dubbed. And I think it's kind of curious because um, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in the museum just recently hosted an event where they like tied in a whole bunch of Star Wars memorabilia and all kinds of Star Wars garb and stuff into a history lesson, so to speak, on the Strategic Defense Initiative. And, you know, I'm going to be doing some additional information on the distant early warning radar line, the DEW line. And it's something, it extends across, um, like spanning through Canada. And this was a map here showing all the different stations, how it stretches. See how it stretches like that? And there's several of these. This is not just completely inactive. They didn't just shut all of this down and just remove all of this expensive equipment and everything like that. Right over here is where Alaska is at. So I'm willing to bet that what they were able to do is just eliminate the majority of these actual radar systems and replace them with more powerful ones that actually still penetrate the upper atmosphere up there as part of our early warning system, right? And I have a little bit of information that I want to share. This is an interesting one called the DEW Line Sentry of the Far North. Uh, just among many other publications that are out there, here's the DEW Line Training Manual, Introduction to the DEW Line. This is some interesting information prepared by the Western Electric Company, DEW Line Training Manual. United States Air Force, DEW Project Office, New York, December 1957. So it's older documents, a history of the DEW Line from 1946 to 1964. And I'm just going to share some basic information out of some of these files and stuff, and planning, design, and construction. And it's just some really interesting information that I'm planning on sharing because I myself personally, um, they didn't just shut this whole system down. There's still the Northern Watch Command and the Northern Watch radar systems that are in place, and it spans across this whole area here. And they have been beaming the ionosphere and the upper atmosphere with radio communication signals for decades. For decades, okay? And all that superheating that they have done to it is what's causing some of these issues that we're having nowadays. And I think it's just really frustrating and really irritating when I hear all these climate activists and the Just Stop Oil activists and all them, you know, talking about big industry, and it's the consumers and it's our carbon footprint that has destroyed our upper atmosphere, right? And it's put us at risk, right? This is the narrative that they've fed everybody. And I guarantee you that this DEW line and all of these radio frequencies that they still are beaming to this day, only in much higher dosage and more high power antenna systems and array systems, I guarantee you that is what has caused these issues with the ionosphere and with our ecosystem breaking down. You know, with all the stuff that goes on above our heads, and even on a daily basis, what do we see on flight tracker radar? You know, every day. All of our land masses are all covered with all of these crafts, right? And balloons. There's a couple of balloons out and about, huh? There's an HBAL 676 out just off the coast of Cali. I bet you that it's heading out towards Guam again. Well, there's another one up here too. Might as well check this out while I'm here. Kind of getting off track, sidetracked a little bit, but just documenting. HBAL 684, it's up at 64,000 feet. That's up over South Dakota, actually. It's not really showing its path. It's not really showing the route. But we have all of this right here in between us and those upper protective layers, right? 676 is up at 56,000 feet, but how can anything that we do down here at ground level, like driving our cars, like consuming fuel, like consuming consumables, and then emitting and exhausting our waste. How can any of that possibly make its way up to the upper atmosphere? You know what I mean? How dare you blame the consumers industry and the industry folks that provide us with our consumables and everything that we use every day that makes life more comfortable and more tolerable, right? Like toilets and like electrical systems and communication lines. How dare you blame us when you've been doing ungodly things to the upper atmosphere for decades? But anyway, that's going to be an upcoming video. I'm going to share some more information from some of these files concerning the dew line and the history of it and everything, because it's not defunct. All they did was just concentrate all of these different array systems into just a few select areas. And one in particular is the whole HARP project going on over there that they supposedly handed over to the University of Alaska just for research purposes, in quotes. I'm doing air quotes, can't see it, but yeah. And at some point, someone somewhere needs to acknowledge that this has been contributing to some of our bigger issues with our breakdown of our ecosystems. And this whole thing is all part of the National Weather System and NOAA in command of some of these systems as well, and tracking and providing the data. So, these people want to blame the consumers, for all of the damage done to our environment. And I'm not saying that we aren't, we definitely have contributed something to the degradation of our environment, but I'm not taking all the blame. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not taking all the blame because I'm a consumer and because I have a carbon footprint. Fuck this whole carbon footprint thing and carbon zero. Y'all realize that we're carbon-based beings, right? And carbon zero means like no human beings, right? I mean, basically. But what do you do when you're doing an investigation to try to find the source of a problem? You go right to like what makes the most logical sense, right? Well, to me, the most logical sense is that these systems that have been beaming radio waves and communication signals, supposedly communication signals, up into the upper atmosphere and bouncing these communication lines back and forth and around and about, have done the superheating. When they talk about this global warming thing, it's very well could be, and it very well could be attributed to something like this and to HARP too. But to get people in the science community to admit that, are you kidding me? I mean, they have gag orders still on people that work for the National Weather Service. So, this battle and this fight is pretty heavy, and it's got a large load, but we need to continue to fight the frequencies. We need to fight the frequencies. That's my new, campaign and slogan, fight the frequencies. Now these threats have all changed. I mean, they've taken their game up above our heads, and they're attempting to establish communication lines above our heads, bouncing things off of the upper atmosphere and eliminating the ground-based level of it. Because if they can bounce the echoes and signals and everything in the communication lines up between each other, up above our heads in the upper atmosphere, and they could pretty much get away with any freaking thing that they want, and we would never even know the wiser because there wouldn't be anybody that would be able to detect any of it from any ground-based stations anymore. I don't consent to it. I never have, and I'll go into some of that in another video. That's going to be an upcoming upload, but this next upload that I'm going to be doing will be some of this footage of the moon and the star trails from last night, and the audio file will be Ronald Reagan from 1983 talking about the Strategic Defense Initiative, otherwise dubbed the Star Wars program, in case you're not familiar with it. So, thanks for watching. Stay safe and mindful. There's definitely more to come if I can help it.